first video that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel. Basically what I'm going to be doing, a lot of people are asking that I run through how I do my dubs or my edits and stuff like that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kind of take something from scratch, show you kind of quickly how I go through things and what I can do, manipulate samples and stuff like that, and kind of where I get my samples and all this type of thing. So when people are asking like where I get my samples, the first thing I do is I think of a popular 90s kind of house track that I like myself, or that kind of influenced me growing up, get into dance music and stuff. So I've gone on here to Who Sampled, which is the website I will go on to. You can see it all here. Usually I go straight onto this website and I type in, you know, like the name of the track. So just say like music sounds better or something, and you search that anyway, and that will show you what the original samples in the track were, because most of the 90s house tracks were sampled from like disco tracks and kind of funk tracks and stuff like that. So I think it was like Frankie Knuckles who said house is disco's revenge. That's basically where he gets that from, is because most of the 90s house tracks are sampled from older tracks. I'm just going to say before I get into this, I don't have the setup perfect. I basically set this up in the space of a day because I put out on my Instagram that I wanted people to kind of see whether they wanted to hear things, wanted me to do videos like this, and would they watch them and stuff like that. So I got a good response, and a lot of people said they did want me to do it. So I asked for some ideas and stuff, and one idea was, I want to get a bass line from a track and wonder how they do it. And when I listened to it, I worked out that it was a sample bass line. So I want to kind of tie that into one video here with kind of how I do my dubs and my edits and stuff, because that's probably one of the most popular things that people ask when they ask about my music, is how I did like the Music Sounds Better dub and the Hypnotized dub and stuff like that. So I'm going to go on here and I'm going to get this track. Well, I've already got this track, the sample. You can see here it tells you it contains two samples, Every Man by Double Exposure and Hit and Run by Liletta Holloway. You can click on the little play thing here, and the good thing is you can go on and it tells you like where the sample starts in the original and where it starts in the track it was sampled in. So if you're not sure like what parts to use, I've kind of just gone by ear here. I'm not going to completely copy the exact same track from The Girl Next Door. I'm just kind of taking inspiration from it, kind of using it as a dub and maybe kind of messing around with it a bit to kind of make it a bit more original, because I don't want to take the exact track and copy the exact track. So I want to kind of take inspiration from it, probably take the same kind of sample loops and stuff like that, so you'll understand kind of how it was done and how I do things and stuff like that. So I'll go over here to Ableton and we'll get started. I have Double Exposure, Every Man here brought in, and this is what it sounds like. So I'm just going to play a small sample of that for now, because on my first video I don't want to get copyrighted. I'm going to search through it here. So that's the main part there. There's another bit now that I want to get. It has kind of the same melody and stuff like that, but there's just no vocals in it, and that's basically what I want to sample, because I don't want the vocals in the track. Right, so I found the part there that I want to sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that back here, and I'm basically just going to, I'm just going to loop that. I'm guessing this bit should be okay. Yeah, so that part's perfect to loop there. So I'm going to get rid of the rest of this here. And like the other track that I've heard as well, I'm just going to put this into a bus. Usually I just have a certain way that I always do things, just so I'm able to find things quicker and stuff like that. Pink buses are always synths, so if I add any more synths in, and like this is a melody sample, so I'll just tie it into that as well. So I'll just call this sample. Yeah, I'll bring some EQ in on that and probably cut it off around 150 hertz. I might boost it a bit around 200. Sounds a bit weak in the frequencies there. And I'll probably take some EQ out of it as well, because as with like old samples and stuff that were recorded live, there'll probably be some nasty frequencies in there. So I'm just going to go through it real quick. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to go into the sample. I'm going to pitch it up by 2, and I'm going to speed this up to 124 beats per minute. I'm going to also like quantize this a bit better and warp it a bit better. Just going to quantize that on the on beats there, and then I'm going to go back, and this is what it should sound like. Sorry Sorry, it's just the way that I've started doing this video is a bit weird because I have my mic running through Ableton. You might be able to hear a bit of delay because it's coming out through my speakers. I might start doing it with my headphones and that, but I have to solo my mic every time I'm like talking because I don't want the music to come through the mic and stuff like that. I'm gonna get used to doing this more, and if there's any tips or like any ways you want me to make this stream better and stuff, kind of, you know, if you have any ideas or is there anything you didn't like about the video or anything, let me know in the comments, and I'm surely gonna take them on board because I am so completely new to this that I'm kind of jumping through it and showing you how I do things. So yeah, let me know if there's any improvements I could make or anything that you didn't like about the stream, and I'm sure to make different like changes in the future and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna jump in and kind of subtract a few frequencies out here, and I'll show you how I usually do that. Right, so that's sounding a lot cleaner than it was before. I'm gonna create a new track outside of the synth group, and I'm just gonna call this bass, and then group that and call these basses. I'm gonna grab this, drag it down as well, and just recolor it, and then I'm just gonna rename it bass sample. What I'm gonna do with this now is I'm basically just gonna roll off high end, so I can still use the bass out of the original track. So I'm just going to roll it off above 150 here. And what I usually do as well is I'll get my or bass here, resonance bass from waves. So people ask how to like thicken up basses and things like that. So with this, I might choose, I think it's big bottoms. Yeah, I usually pull that back down there as well. And I just put that before the EQ because you'll hear now. I'll turn it off, turn it back on again, and you'll hear the difference. So this is what it's like before. So you can hear there's a lot more kind of low end to that sample because you can see from the waveform there that there's not many kind of low frequencies in there and stuff like that. I'm just going to loop a little small section of this and see if it works as I'm going. I'm going to bring that bass down a small bit, and I'm going to play them together and just mess around with the little loop I have going here. That sounded nice, that little small loop there. So I might use the full loop I've selected for kind of like a breakdown, and then I might use it. Yeah, so I'm going to use the full loop that I selected there for a breakdown, and then I'm going to use the little section that I've just chosen there for like the intro and kind of it's saying the word with the drop. I'm going to copy this across just a small bit, get a nice kind of loop going. And I'm going to mess around with this sample a bit more because I want to kind of affect it a bit more and not have it just playing the normal kind of basically the exact sample that it is playing. I just don't want it to get too repetitive and kind of mess it up a bit so it's not like as expected, if you get what I mean. I'm actually try putting an LFO on this. I tend to do this with like pads and stuff like that, put a lot of reverb on them, and this kind of automates, cut off and stuff to kind of make it evolve and kind of keep moving and stuff like that, so it's something interesting. I'm going to press Command F, type in LFO, grab the LFO tool here and bring that in. So basically you can see there what it's doing is it's constantly going up and down the whole time. So I'm going to select triangle on this because I don't want to, and yeah, I'm going to sync it to BPM. I don't want it going the full way up. I don't want it going the full way down. Try that. So what you usually do is just click map and then click what you wanted to move basically. So I'll just click frequency here. You can see there that it's constantly moving it up and down. Now I can see where it's going down to, and it's kind of a bit low, so I'm just going to mess around with it a small bit here. I want it to kind of go down to 300. So that it kind of ties in with the bass. Nice thick sound to the bass. Try that there and see what that sounds like. Yeah, so that sounds nice like that. I'm going to bring another audio effect track in here, and this is what I usually do with my reverb. I'm just going to bring in an effect track here and create a chain. Call that dry. I'm going to rename this reverb /play. And then I'm going to create a new chain and call that reverb. I'm going to go into a few different things here and see guitar room. Right, so basically I wanted to kind of reverb. I was thinking like I wanted to reverb the guitar, so I'm going to put it in just the guitar room preset. I'm just going to mess around with it and see what way it is. I'm going to get an EQ and do kind of an Abbey Road. What I usually do with my reverbs and vocals and stuff is I roll off the top above 10,000, turn off this one and this one, and then roll it off below 600. So I'll give it a nice feeling. The reason I'm using a audio effect track for the reverb and delay and everything is because I want to sidechain the reverb and EQ it obviously without affecting the main sample and stuff. Yeah, so that's sounding fine. What it's doing is it's sidechaining the reverb frequency because it's up to 100% wet here. If I just solo this by itself, you'll hear what I'm on about. So that's what's being affected there. And kind of, if I turn this off, you'll just hear it. You can hear the peaks coming through there, and I don't want them contrasting and kind of muddying up my mix and stuff, so you can hear that it kind of ducks them down when the frequencies like the snare hits and stuff, because it's obviously sampled from a full track. It's going to pull it down and have it not contrasting with the actual snare hits and stuff in there. This is what it'll sound like so. Now that I have that done, I'm going to do the same again, delay, and I'm going to add some delay to it without a reverb. I'm just going to bring down ping pong delay. Usually I do it like 1.5 on the cue or the bend or whatever you want to call it. I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to put that up to 100 and bring it down to like 15 or something, because I don't want it being too much of a tail. I just wanted to kind of small bit of delay to kind of ring out when the LFO is coming back down, just so you can't notice the LFO that much. I usually overdrive my reverbs just a small bit on the top, just to give it an extra texture so that the sounds that are being delayed sound different. It's not just the actual sound that I've chosen to delay. You can hear there's a difference in it, and it kind of stands out a bit more, and it gives it more texture and kind of fills it out a bit more in the track. I'm also going to put just the normal reverb just on top, and usually what I do is bring that down to 37, and that just kind of puts the delay in the background of the mix. I'm going to go back over to the reverb command and copy the sidechain, and then drag that behind a lot of it as well. So that sidechain and the delay the exact same as the reverb. That's what this should sound like. Very subtle, but like you can hear the difference. Actually, you can turn off the high one. Fine like that. I just don't want any low frequencies kind of being delayed in there on top because I have the bass underneath it. So yeah, that should be alright for everything on the main sample. This is the way it's sounding so far. Okay, so that's really what I'm going to do there with the samples and that, and I'll show you kind of what I plan on doing with the vocal as well, because I know there's a section in the vocal that I want to use, because the vocal I've downloaded isn't kind of like, it's not the exact same as the vocal in the original track. Yeah, it's not the full length vocal, it's only like a minute or two, but there's still a section in there that I know I want to use for it. And I'm just going to go through here and find the section.
You can hit and run.
I don't want to grab too much of the vocal. I'm going to drag this one back because I want that one out of the way when I'm looping it again. I'm just going to take that first section. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. I'm going to rename this Vox 1. Duplicate across and then delete the rest. So this is what it's sounding like so far. So the vocal was just one note off there. I never know what's basically just pitched it down one note just so it fits in a bit better. There is a lot of effects already on the vocal, so you can hear when I'm playing it there. Just gonna fade out the end of this as well. You can hear there's delay. There is delay and reverb on the end of that vocal already, so I don't want to overdo it. I might just leave it like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I'm going to do to this now. I'm going to go on and I'm going to skip the whole like dragging drum samples in and going through it for ages. So I'm going to cut to when I have a few drums done. I'm going to structure the small bit. When I cut to the next bit, all the drums and structure, a small bit be done, and then I can run through them shortly. So I'll see you in a minute.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so I'm after putting in some drums, just basically like kicks, some claps, and like a few little loops just to kind of speed up the process. And then I have the vocal layered out like that, and I've done some like automation on the low pass and the LFO. I've turned that off like in the breakdown and stuff like that, and I have it structured out a bit. And I also just have an EQ8 on the master just to kind of filter it when I'm getting to the breakdown and stuff like that. Take out all the low end and kind of create some suspense and stuff. So I'll just show you here kind of how I've started off, and I'll run you down through the drums. So this is the kick I've chosen. The sub kick I think is out of like a Mark Knight pack or something like that. It was in the key that I wanted to use, and basically it was too clicky. So I'll show you just the one that I've taken out of the pack and how it sounded before I EQ'd it. Yeah, so you can hear that there's a lot of click on the top of that. So what I've done is I've just EQ'd and rolled it off above 200 hertz, just to make it a sub kick because I like the low end on it, so it sounds like this. Then I've gone and I've chosen the top kick. I didn't like how clicky the old one was because it's kind of an old school type of track. I've rolled it off below 200 hertz because the sub kick is taking up that frequency. Don't want it clashing. And I've rolled it off then at 5000 hertz because, again, I didn't want some certain high frequencies in it. Very simple. And then I have a little high percussion that I put on top of most of my kicks because it fills up the frequency and kind of fills out the kick and makes it sound a bit more complete and stuff. So this is just what it sounded like. Just a simple little hat sound, and then the kick altogether sounds like this. Very simple. All I've really done to the kick is I've added a saturator, put it on +8 and then -8, because I always do this. Whatever I add to the drive, I pull back off the output so it's still the same volume. Then I have the bass just set to 3 there just because I wanted to give it a little extra drive and stuff like that. So that's the kick there. Then you'll see here I have like clap C, clap L, and clap R. That's clap center, clap left, and clap right. So what I do is I generally select a clap that I like the most, and that's the one that'll go in the center. So that'll sound like this. Then I have my left clap over here, which is panned 18 to the left. So this is the left clap. And then this is the right clap. Then together they should sound like this. And I've also added this little loop here that just has a nice clap in it. I didn't, because I was taking ages and I wanted to get this video done recorded, I just dragged the loop in and that. But the hi-hat does add to like the other hi-hats I have in, and it's just giving more body to the clap as well. A very simple loop. Then you'll see there I just have a top loop dragged in as well, just for the sake of the video, just to fill it up a bit quicker. So that's just EQ'd heavily. So then I have an EQ on this and a utility because the clap on its own was very separated and stereo-wise, so I just wanted to select the one frequency. If I turn this off, if you're listening on speakers, you'll notice that like there's one clap one side and one clap the other side. But yeah, what I usually do is just drag a utility on top of it, because you can see here the right side is on the EQ here. The right side is playing a bit higher than the left side. So I've just gone in here and just clicked right. So it's just selecting the right side. I'm playing that through both speakers. That's just keeping it completely centered. Then rolled it off then below 300 hertz because I didn't want much clashing with the kick. And then with the ones on the right, rolled it off below 600 because I didn't want too much body on like on the right side or the left side of the speaker. So like I don't want all the body of the clap going wide. I just want the kind of high ends and top side of the clap going each side. So I've done the same with the left one, just EQ'd out below 600 because I want them both to sound the same. And then obviously all the claps will sound like they're uniforming together. Then moving on to the hats, I have same thing as I have with the clap. I'll generally pick like the one hat that I like, and that'll be the center hat. So this is the one. Very simple hi-hat. And then I have the one on the left. Bit more kind of a high-end hat. And then this is the right side. So again, another high-end one. And then together they should sound like this. It keeps people interested and kind of gives it more of a stereo presence and widens out your sound and stuff like that. I also have just this little hat loop in here just to kind of fill it up again, just for the sake of the video. The reason I chose that one is just because it's given kind of more of a old school feel to the kick as well. You can hear there's a on-beat hi-hat that's kind of playing at the same time. That's just giving it more body and stuff like that. You can see down here that I've automated another low pass on top of it before all like the reverb and delay that I had there. I've automated this to like come up in the intro and that, just so it kind of progresses a bit and can add some tension to the track, and then I can filter it back down and everything when it's coming to more build-ups and stuff. And then the bass here is just basically the same as I had it. Oh, also here there's a few more drums that come into it. Obviously you have the typical 909 hi-hat here. Every track needs a 909 hi-hat. Don't think I've ever made a track that doesn't have a 909 hi-hat in it. And then there's just a simple shaker, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to even keep the shaker in, but it's just basically for showing you how like I fill up my sound a bit more. Generally I'll add like 1 or 2 shakers. Yeah, I'm basically going to show you how I structured the track. Now, it's not completely finished. I don't know whether I'm even going to keep going with this track. If you think I should finish it and kind of release it, I might release it for free or something like that. Throw it out on my SoundCloud. Let's just download it if you're feeling it. Yeah, so basically I've mixed it down as best I could, like in the short amount of time that I had. Again, I just want to get this kind of done, like with other tracks. I can show you maybe in the next video a dub that I have finished. So I can go down through how I did, like the ins and outs, and kind of break down the track, do a walkthrough of it and such. So this is just basically the creation process of how I manipulate the samples and stuff like that, because a lot of people were asking kind of how I do things like that and whatever else. Yeah, I'm just going to leave you with this. Hopefully this is okay for the first video. If there's stuff that you don't like about it and stuff that you think I should change about it, make sure to let me know. I'm just going to show you as a rundown, kind of play through the track now and let you decide what you think. So I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know what you think and what I could change about the video, like videos in future, and what ways I could kind of improve setup and stuff like that, because I know the mic isn't in the perfect place, and obviously I might be getting some feedback through my speakers here because that's the only way it's coming through. I didn't want to throw my headphones. I just decided I'm going to start doing this. Obviously, as a music producer, people know that as soon as you get a bit of inspiration, you just jump on it as soon as you can. I didn't want to lose it, so I just wanted to record this process, show you how I kind of do my thing. And yeah, I'm just going to leave you with the video now, show you what it sounds like at the end. Now, as I said, it's not a full track, so let me know if you want me to finish it and everything else. So enjoy. Peace.